Shri Gurudeva Datta. In chapter 42, we know the importance and the process of doing the Anant Vrat. As we mentioned in the earlier chapter, chapter number 41, that Anant Vrat was supposed to be given to Nagnath by Shri Guru, and he asked him to perform it on a regular basis. Namadharak now asked Siddha Yogi, what is this Anant Vrat, who had performed it, and what are the benefits? Siddha Yogi says that when the Pandavas were in exile, they were in the forest for a long time and they were subjected to so many miserable conditions. It was then that once when Shri Krishna visited them, he said that the only way in which you can have a solution to your problems and come out of the exile successfully is by doing the Anant Vrat. Shri Krishna said that anyone who does the Anant Vrata Puja will earn my grace and benevolence. In the Krita Yuga, there was a Brahmin by the name of Sumantu. He and his wife Diksha had a beautiful daughter Sushila. When Sushila was about 3 years old, Diksha died and Sumantu had to get remarried to do his further householder rites. The stepmother was very harsh with Sushila and treated her so badly that for days together sometimes Sushila would not get food to eat. She would make her do all the household work, the menial work, and not feed or even look after her. Sumantu knew this, and so he wanted that Sushila should get married to a suitable Brahmin so that she would be out of this house and out of this condition too. One day, Kaundinya, he visited Sumantu, and after seeing Sushila, he asked for a hand in marriage. Sumantu was very happy that Sushila was getting a very worthy person as her husband. After the marriage ceremony got over, the couple stayed at Sushila's house for a few days, but the stepmother's treatment somehow did not decrease. Sumantu collected some wheat chaff which was fallen around and gave it to Sushila as a parting gift from her parents. Sushila and Kaundinya went on their onward journey in a chariot. On the way, it was time for some morning ablutions, that is, doing the Sandhya Vandan. After seeing a river side, Kaundinya asked the chariot to be stopped and he got down to do his Sandhya prayers there. Sushila continued to sit in the chariot, and casually when she glanced on the other side of the river, she found a group of women doing some puja, some worship. Curious to know what they were doing, she got out of the chariot, walked towards the women and was observing their procedure of doing that ritual. She asked one of the ladies what was it. They said they were doing the Ananta Puja, which is supposed to bring prosperity, wealth and fame and recognition to one's family, especially the husband. Sushila was very keen to perform this vrat herself. One of the ladies offered her all the materials required for the puja, and she continued to do it in the way they were performing. After the puja got over, the women tied a red thread around her wrist. She came back and sat in the chariot, and after a few minutes, Kaundinya joined her. As they were just traveling a little ahead, they came to a kingdom where the people greeted them as if they knew them for a very long time. Kaundinya was given due respect and taken to the king's palace. He was felicitated and honored, and he was given a very royal plum position in the court. Days passed, everything was going on very happily for the couple. One day, as Sushila and Kaundinya were having a casual conversation, he happened to see the red string which was tied around her wrist. He asked her what was that thread about, and she said that this was the Ananta Puja which she had done the day the chariot had stopped by the riverside. And she said that it is because of this thread and the puja which I did that today we have all the fame, prosperity and all the glory. Somewhere the ego of Kaundinya got hurt. He was upset that she was giving the credit to the puja instead of to him. He screamed at her loudly and said that it is not the puja which you did which has given all the wealth and happiness to us, it is my hard work and my good luck. Saying so, he pulled the thread out of her wrist, snatched it and threw it in the fire. Sushila was greatly pained to see this action of Kaundinya. She rushed and tried to pick out whatever remained she could of the sacred thread. Just at that moment, it was noticed that Kaundinya had lost all his glory. The king's men came and told him that he was being punished for something for which he was not at all responsible. The entire fate turned against him. He lost all his wealth, prosperity, and radiance. He then realized that it was because of the action of throwing that sacred thread, which was a symbol of Ananta Puja, and burning it. He said, I'll try to find out Krishna and ask him for his grace and pardon. As he started moving around madly into the forest, he came across certain people, certain animals, and he realized that these people had also not seen Ananta, but they wanted to know where he was. He met an elephant. He asked the elephant whether he knew anything about Ananta. The elephant said no, but if you come to know something, please do tell me about it. He then came across a cow who had a calf, but then both of them were not able to be free or freely behave with each other like a mother and child. He asked them too about Ananta. There was no response from them. They said they also were in search of him. He then saw two ponds which were full of water, but not even a single animal or bird was coming to take water from it. He asked the two ponds. They also said they had not seen Ananta and were actually searching for him. He saw a tree which was laden with fruits. He asked the tree whether it knew anything about Ananta. That also said the same, that I have not seen him, but if you see him, please tell him about my condition. Finally, he sees an old man and he asks him whether he has seen Ananta. He says, yes, I have seen. Kaundinya is so happy, he asks him to point out where exactly is Ananta. The old man points in a certain direction. When Kaundinya turns in that direction, he finds it is a city which is full of glow and full of radiance, and it has all the wealth and prosperity which he had lost out in the earlier phase. He realizes that this old man is none other than Ananta, that is Lord Krishna. He prostrates in front of him and says, I am so happy to have your grace and your pardon. I will now lead a life which will be more humble than what I had earlier. But I have a question to ask. All these birds, animals, and the trees and the pond which I met on the way were asking about you and they wanted to meet you. Who are they? So Krishna says that the tree which was laden with fruits, but no bird came to partake of the fruit, was a learned scholar in his earlier birth. But he was so selfish that he never imparted his knowledge to anyone. So in this birth, he is a tree who has lot of fruits, but no one to enjoy the fruits. The two ponds, he says, are two sisters who distributed amount which was donated in charity among themselves. In this way, the old man, that is Lord Krishna himself, talks about the benefits of Ananta Puja. He relieves all these elements which Kaundinya had met on the way, and he gives them salvation. This is the benefit of the Ananta Vrata or the Ananta Puja as described in the Puranas. We further move on to the next chapter. Till then, we keep chanting Shri Gurudeva Datta.